If you're asking your realtor the same exact questions, how is the market? What is my house worth? You can still get absolutely wrecked in Knoxville. Because it is truth, bad advice doesn't sound bad. It sounds confident.
So today we're going to give you the top 7 questions that you should ask your realtor, or truly any realtor, before you hire them. Doesn't matter if you're a buyer or if you're a seller. Ask these 7 questions so you don't have to find out at the end of the day that that realtor was just kind of winging it.
And stay with us until the end, because question number 7 is the one that exposes if the agent is truly working for you.
Or just trying to get you under contract super fast.
First question, what is your game plan for my situation? My specific situation, know what you usually do.
Because the Knoxville market truly can be a jack of all trades, right? We've got condos downtown, we've got flips in North Knoxville, and then we've got Farragut luxury homes. These are 3 totally different worlds, and that's just the beginning of the Knoxville market.
So you really want to hear specifics like, if you're buying, here is how we'll win without overpaying. And if you're selling, here is how we'll prep, price, and launch so you don't sit on market.
And look, trust your gut on this one, right? Because if at the end of the day you're telling yourself, this guy doesn't really seem like he has a true laid out plan, they generally don't have one.
Next, we are going to ask the question to know if they are really Knoxville experts or they work everywhere.
The next question to ask to get really specific on how much a realtor knows their market, ask them what they track weekly in Knoxville and how is it changing?
Just have a real talk. If their answer is, well, the market is crazy, you better run.
Which don't get me wrong, right now.
The market is crazy.
It is kind of crazy, but they should expand on how and why. For instance,
you really want to hear numbers like days on market are trending up or down, or they are steady. Price reductions, are they increasing, decreasing? Is inventory shrinking or growing? What happens with concessions? What's going on there right now? Are there credits, rate buy downs?
and this is a conversation I have with generally all of my buyers, right? When they come in and they say, and I have my buyer consultation, not they say, but whenever I have my buyer consultation, I tell them, exactly that, right? Generally, whenever we go in, my strategy is X. We're gonna talk about possibly getting you guys some credits from the sellers, maybe even a rate buy down if we really wanna do something like that. And this is the game plan, the structured game plan that makes my buyers feel confident. Our buyers, I'd say, because I learned from the best here, our buyers, they feel confident that we're actually providing a service rather than just
Opening a door.
And follow-up is extremely key, right? You have to ask them, what does this mean for my offer or my sales price? Because next question is probably one of the most important questions that most people don't ask. And it's the reason home buyers either overpay on their offers or underlist when they're trying to sell a house.
Ask your realtor, how are you pricing this home? Walk me through the comps. And if you're a buyer, how are you deciding what is the offer that we do for this home? Comps are not only for sellers, comps are also for buyers.
All right, and here's the reality, right? Because agents who don't know how to read comps will either overprice and make you chase the market, or underprice and leave money on the table. Or some of the worst things that I've ever heard in my entire life is just offer high without any logic behind that.
And really what you want them to explain to you is which are the comps that matter and which ones are fake comps. Adjustments, condition, upgrades, lot, view, layout, location, why pending sales matter, when list price is irrelevant.
And if they can't explain their comps without getting defensive, that should be an immediate red flag.
Next question is the one that saves buyers thousands, and it really saves sellers from appraisals blow up.
All right, question number 4, and this is a pretty important one because this can either save or kill a deal. Ask them how they deal with appraisals or inspections.
Because really, deals don't fall apart just from pricing. they die. They really do die because of appraisal coming low or inspections that turn into surprises.
Insurance issues can also be a very huge red flag and can also kill a deal. If your real estate agent didn't check if there was a flood zone prior to you putting in an offer on a home, that could absolutely kill a deal in lending because flood insurance is massively expensive.
Another one that kills is when the repair negotiations just go sideways. When you do have a huge surprise, you never go under your crawl space, and it comes up that you have a flooded crawl space, and your agent don't know how to handle that, you're in the dark.
Or maybe the clients are asking for everything under the sun, and the agent doesn't know how to necessarily talk to their clients to say, hey, that's not really us, something that we ask the sellers to repair. You guys can repair that on your own, or XYZ. And that generally comes to chip paint on the wall. Maybe there's a downspout that's leading just right into the water. You can just grab go to Lowe's, buy a $5 black little tube, and you're done, right? But it could kill a deal because if you ask the sellers to do all that, they could say no. There could start being some bad blood in the waters, and then the deal's just over. So you really have to know how to manage inspections to have a really successful deal. For buyers, here's something really, really important that you should really ask. Ask how the agent handles a possible low appraisal, right? Are they renegotiating the deal altogether? Are they challenging the comps that the appraiser used to get the price of the home? Or are they just restructuring the whole entire thing? Because sometimes truly you can just go to an appraiser, and this comes from my lending experience. Sometimes you can go to an appraiser and be like, hey, I didn't like the comps that you used. Here are some better comps in my opinion. And sometimes it works. I've seen that happen at least 2 or 3 times in the last 4 years that I've done it, where an appraisal came in low, we challenged the comps, and we actually ended up getting a higher price on our deal.
And for you sellers, you really want to hear from your agent. Pre-listing inspections. When it really makes sense. What to fix, what not to fix. Staged, no staged. How to respond to repair requests without giving away the house.
All right, next up, we're asking a super important question: whether your agent can negotiate, or whether they're just sending emails, or whether they're just forwarding emails.
You really need to ask, what is your negotiation style? And can you give me a real example in Knoxville? For example, my negotiation style, it really depends on each deal. It depends on what you're looking for, what are we trying to accomplish. So in my buyer consultation, I want to hear all your story, everything that I need to know to give me tools to negotiate. So that will depend on how I will handle and what style am I gonna use. I can be very aggressive, I can be very patient, I can be very understanding. So it really depends on the tools that you give me, that's how I'm gonna act.
Because somebody just saying I'm a great negotiator really means nothing. Have them back up their negotiations. What examples, specifically Knoxville examples, have they used to craft their negotiation power? For instance, one time I was able to get one of my clients seller credits because the house was on the market for quite a long time. So I knew that when we went into that home, I was gonna come in asking for seller credits and closing costs for my buyers. Another example was when I was able to beat another buyer with a higher offer by tightening some of my terms and making the seller feel safe. What that means is maybe offering quicker inspection times, and maybe offering a little bit more earnest money, right? Because that means you have a little more skin in the game, you actually care about the house, you're willing to put a little bit more money down, which can be non-refundable, right? That's very important too, which in turn makes the seller feel a lot more safe about the deal in general. So maybe somebody's offering, $10,000 higher than you are, but they're a lot sketchier than you are because you're coming in putting $10,000 down, bam, right off the bat, right? So it really just depends on the situation.
That's when you're gonna ask, when your agent that you're hiring to help you buy a house just present the stronger offer. It doesn't mean that you're gonna go higher in price. Strong means stronger terms for the offer, not the money. Sometimes not everybody wants higher money. They want, like Christian says, security. this is ABC, and I'm going to be closing and I'm going to be moving to my next home. Because remember, sometimes this seller is already on a contract for this other home. So they really want the deal to be done, not at a higher price, but at the right time.
And another great strategy that sometimes some real estate agents come up with is avoiding bidding wars, right? Because me personally, I think bidding wars can be really volatile. They can be really harmful for just about everybody involved, because at the end of the day, emotions are going to be hurt for those who don't win the house. And then for those who do end up paying for the house, they might be overpaying by $10, $20, $30, $40,000 over what the house was really worth. And if there was no appraisal contingency, woof, you're out of luck.
And we're not in COVID years anymore. Houses are not going to appreciate that fast anymore. So you got to be careful, because still multiple offer situations are being seen in Knoxville here in February 2026. So be careful with how you and your agent plan that offer.
Because truly a real estate agent's transaction doesn't just end the minute you finish your closing.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't, right? This is something that you have to think about the future of your clients. Because whenever I tell this to all of my clients, our relationship does not end whenever you finish signing that document, right? Because I have your interest for the next 5 to 10 years, because I'm looking to put you into a home in a safe environment for a long time, not into something that you're going to be upside down on within the next year or so.
And this is a spicy follow-up. What did you do when the other side is unreasonable? A strong agent will talk about options, leverage, timelines, no drama. Next, we're gonna go with question number 6. And it is about communication, because a good agent that disappears is basically useless.
We really want you to ask, whenever you're choosing an agent, you have to ask them, how often will we be communicating? And what happens if you're unavailable?
Because the truth is, real estate is timing. If you can reach your agent when that particular house that you've been watching drop the price, or when an offer deadline hits, you are the one losing.
And you want specifics here, right? Like, are you checking in every Tuesday and Friday? Or you'll get updates after every showing? Or most importantly, if I'm busy with another client, my partner will come through for me and help you within X amount of time.
And if they look annoyed by the question, you already got your answer.
If you're liking the video so far, please make sure to like, maybe subscribe, and tap that bell for notifications so you never miss another video on tips and tricks, how to be really proficient in real estate. All right, well, here we go with the drum roll, right? Because we have question number 7, and this is the only question that truly reveals if they're in your corner or not.
How do you get paid? And what will make you tell me not to buy or sell?
And this question is really important because a pro will immediately tell you exactly how their commissions work. I mean, we have laws in place now that you must sign a document stating exactly what the kind of commission is being paid to the agent, who's paying the commission. All of that stuff is signed prior to even showing a house. If they have any referral relationships, this is important too, because you want to know exactly what's going on behind the scenes and why they're offering you what they're offering you. And the absolute, in my opinion, most important question that really shows if they're looking out for you or not is for you to ask, what conditions need to be in place for us to walk away from a deal, or for you to tell us to walk away from a deal? I'm certainly no stranger to that. I've had no issues telling my clients, hey, this foundation is absurdly messed up and this is just something we don't need to get in. You know, I've also been no stranger to tell my clients that, hey, I don't think your financial situation at this very current moment is going to be beneficial for you to purchase a home. So I think let's take some time, get our ducks in a row, and then go from there. Because at the end of the day, I could care less about the commission. I care more about my clients and the relationship I'm building with them to further make my business grow that way, rather than just a quick check and then the day after my clients are their basement's flooded, or you know, a situation where they're just in deep and they can't get out.
And in the seller side, I just had a consultation with a seller. She wanted to sell her house to pay for a lawyer for her son. And really her monthly payment it was just $600. And selling the house to get the equity out and buying another place wasn't just gonna be in her best interest. So I really explained, you're selling this and you're paying $700 a month, and you're gonna buy something else that is gonna cost you $1,600 a month. It's just not feasible for you and your financial situation. An agent with integrity will really be willing to just not get a commission to look in your best interest.
And if the agent can't come up with a single scenario to tell you, hey, you shouldn't do that, they're certainly not in your best interest. They're just looking for a check and they're just looking to go on their way. So there you have it, your top 7 questions to make sure that you are with the correct agent that's gonna get you into the best scenario possible. And we're gonna give you a quick recap right now. Question number 1, what's your best game plan for my situation?
Number 2, what are you tracking weekly and what are the changes going on right now?
Number 3, how will you price a home or write an offer based on comps?
4, how do you handle appraisal and inspections?
Number 5, what's your negotiation style? What are you gonna do for me in this specific Knoxville market?
Number 6, how is our communication going to be? And what is the backup plan if you're not available?
And number 7, which is again the most important part, how are you getting paid? And what is the scenario gonna look like for you to tell me to walk away?
If you're moving to Knoxville, don't gamble with a random agent. Just give us a call, text, email, just book our Zoom link, and we'll be happy to tailor a game plan just for you.
Well, as I'm sure you already know, all of our information is in the description box below. Go check it out, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap that bell for notifications.
See you next time.